Yeah, this
Good
is
morning.
this is like what the
Hey, but you've got hair. I mean, mine's going flat today, my face. This, I don't know what that is. And and you hear what's going on at my feet, right?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
Yes.
Big C.
But you know what? That's what makes the world go round. I left this morning and Basil was sitting at the end of the bed like and I was like, go get Pops. Go get Pops up. Boom. She hops up there and about 2 hops later, here comes Pepper. And yeah, all you can see are these two dogs, the back of these two dogs, and like his knees coming up because they're just dog piling him. I'm like,
Love it.
who could ask for a better way to wake up on a Friday morning?
Look, I love waking up with my animals. They make me happy. So I got up last night. Did you? I know better than to ask. Did you get up at 3 a.m. and watch the lunar eclipse?
Oh, and so I
I
didn't even
did.
know that it was happening. And then I saw where Gene Williams got up and I was like,
I did. So it was twofold. I woke up 2 nights ago. My dad called and said, "Hey, it's a lunar eclipse." I said, "No, Dad, that's the 14th. That's going to happen." He said, "You sure?" I said, "I'm positive." I looked it up, and he said, "Did you look at that? You looked it up on the internet?" I said, "I did." He said, "While you're talking to me?" I said, "I did." He said, "Dang almighty. I'll never understand how you do that." I said, "It's a cell phone, Daddy. It's all good." So then he called me yesterday at work. And so he said, "Guess what?" So what? He said, "There's a lunar eclipse tonight. Did you know it was tonight?" I said, "No, I had no idea." He says, "Tonight." I said, "Well, good. I'll get up and see it." So woke up around 3:30 and I knew that's probably when it would peak and be like the blood moon would be completely covered. Um, but walked outside and I'm not one who walks out at night by myself, but walked out and it was just a sliver. I guess it already peaked and it was coming over or coming across. And so walked out, saw it, and I walked into Kellen's bedroom. She was awake. So I said, "Hey, come outside." So we sat outside for a few minutes. Cool.
so and the, I wish I had named because Foster sent Dabney and I a text yesterday afternoon and said, hey, go outside and look at the blood moon.
Huh?
And so Chris was out there. Was about, he was placing the water line,
Uh-huh.
aka the water pipe. He was putting it, trying to get it in the trench that he did. And so we looked up and it was just beaming. And I thought, oh wow, but I knew nothing of an eclipse, like nothing.
I
So
want to be you.
what you mean?
Like I've known this eclipse was coming for 5 or 6 days, which means that I'm online way too much. I should be outside doing what you're doing, earthing, doing my garden.
Look, I got 30, no, 24 plus 44 ranunculus that I will be soaking maybe today or tomorrow and then planting them. And I'm not sure, I'm too late to the game, I think, for the corms. I'm not 100% sure. I'm gonna just
What,
try.
what's a corm?
Um, it looks kind of like this. So imagine this being the top, and then it has these little leggy things that kind of come out of the bottom. I thought they were bigger. Maybe they get bigger in the water. I don't know yet. But they're about like this big, maybe. Can you see that? There. No, there. Like that. So you soak them in water, and then the corms are sort of the leggy part root. So it is like some call it a ranuncular bulb corm. So I think it's
Yeah.
like the same principle as a bulb. I don't know. And evidently I could have gotten ranunculus in the form of a seed, but I didn't know to do that. So I didn't.
So I bought one this week. I paid $8 for one in bloom.
So where first and foremost, and second of all, so did Tyra, and she got hers from the Coweta something something market, and she said that she thought Pike Spalding had one. So I need to look. I
Lowe's,
just haven't done it.
Lowe's and Fayetteville had them. They're in full bloom. They're beautiful, but
Yeah.
I didn't know if they were a seed, a bulb. I didn't know if they're perennials or annuals, but I didn't care. It was what I call false spring. It was here. I planted too early, but I didn't plant everything, but I had to get some color in the ground.
All
So
you need to do is just cover it if you know it's gonna frost, just throw something over it.
and they're
And it's
spring
fine in the
bloomers.
ground. They're what?
They're spring bloomers. I thought they bloom all summer long, but they're kind of like, I guess, like a snapdragon and things like that. They're spring only. So we'll see how long. I got him in kind of partial sun.
So that's what I don't know what I'm gonna do. I will tell you that my greenhouse stuff loves the heat because it got cold, for a couple of days, whatever day that was so basically 2 days and everything kind of started,
Yeah.
And so I went back in there day before yesterday and they were kind of starting to perk up. And yesterday, like my corn, everything's like, hey, we're all happy now. And I thought, and the only thing that changed was well, I sprayed them a little bit with water, but also the temperature. So
Cool.
I am like in absolute love.
You're going to be Martha Stewart or Meghan Markle. I don't know which one you're going to be for the garden.
Well,
You
that
have to
was
own your own stuff.
uh Kristen sent me that a link to her new show or whatever.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet. I don't know.
I
So
watched two episodes.
worthy of watching.
It's okay. Yeah. I heard some girls talking about it over the weekend and how much they love it. It's like a younger Martha Stewart. You're clipping your flowers, arranging some bath salts for a guest that was coming over. Then, I mean, her recipes were actually pretty good. Poured some
Okay.
candles, but it does make me want to have bees.
Oh, so she has bees?
She has bees, yeah. First episode, they're smoking and you put the smoke or the fog to make them go to sleep, to relax, and you can scrape the honey off the combs. It's pretty cool.
Okay, I'll watch it. Yeah, we have ours coming 1st of April. Is that? I have
2 weeks.
to ask him. Yeah,
It's
so we'll get
Friday.
those
This
going.
has been the longest week. I don't know if it was having snow days in January, having the holiday. I feel like each week has 19 days in it, just Monday through Friday, and the weekend's a half day.
Well, yeah, and last weekend I didn't leave my house and all I did was cook or plant, which is wonderful, but I had 21,000 steps the one day. And so clearly I'm not chilling out, but I love it. So, but this week, yeah, I get up at 4:30 and then go to bed at like 10, even though I'm trying to go to bed at like 9 and it's just not happening.
I have gone to bed earlier. I'm working on that. Magnesium for the win.
So did you get, never mind. I got a text about my hormones that they can't fill it because they moved locations, that pharmacy that we go to sometimes.
Yeah.
They move locations, so they cannot compound right now because the licensing hasn't been issued. They sent this to me yesterday. I run out on Sunday, so I'm trying to find another compounding because the only other one I know was Jones and they're closed.
There's another one. There's one in Noonan.
I think there's one in Zebulon. I just needed to check. If
Oh,
so,
I'd be shot. Okay, so make that a priority today. If I need to run an errand for you to pick up, let me know because I don't know who's open. I guess they're all open on Saturday too, but if it's something around here, I can run out for you.
thank you. Thank you.
So I'll be your work wife today.
So today I am, so my little ninja nugget that came from a recommendation for the sales meeting stuff is the pre-listing interview that we got. They gave us a copy of it at the Ninja Now, but this came straight out of Ninja Book. So we talked about, we have a little listing contest going on with the lotto card thing. So then I thought, well, what better way than to talk about listings except with the pre-listing interview sheet. So I'll give it out, but it's also about how do you ask questions? Have you done any updating? If you were to stay in your home, what would you do? This one I loved, and I don't know if we've ever talked about this one, but for a moment, pretend to be a buyer and look at your home through buyer eyes. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate its condition?
Okay, that would be great for any listing, pre-listing at the final interview. Most people don't do that. So all right, let me ask you.
Yes.
I think questions disarm people who are kind of ready to pounce or sellers who maybe sold a lot, maybe it's an emotional situation. What do you do with the seller who said, look, I'm the decision maker, even if they're not. There's going to be more than one decision maker, but they have to be in control of the situation. So what do you do? So we're dealing with this right now. We're dealing with somebody who said, look, all decisions go through me, and they're high emotion, and high emotion can sometimes make you irrational. So what do you do?
So what is their motivation? Do we know?
I don't think the seller is motivated. I think that
This
there's
particular seller who is the
on the
decision
market.
maker, but not really?
Yes,
Okay.
I think this relationship is ending, and
Okay.
the sale is being forced. So what would you do in a situation where the seller really doesn't want to get out of the house, but they have to sell?
So could we focus on, should they sell, where they would go, or something positive, or try and make that lifting a burden in some kind of way?
Like visualize the end.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good approach, and I'm talking with the agent. One thing we suggested, because we know we're going to get offers. This is a great house. It's a great neighborhood. I said, okay, why don't you go ahead and ask your sellers, both sellers, maybe in a separate message, but what's your ideal offer?
Right.
What's your ideal closing
Well, I
time?
love that. Yeah.
What are your ideal terms? And then for anybody going, hey, I'm going to submit, because we all want normally a super fast closing. But we've had one, I know in your office, we talk about a seller who said, yeah, I don't want to get out right away. It's the buyer made an offer and gave them a longer temporary occupancy.
Perfect.
It's somebody who's not going to be owner occupant. But I think giving people control and questions is how you learn about that. I think
Well, and
it's
that
a
was
game
like
changer.
kind of where I was thinking about what comes next. Would that then make that individual feel in control of the process if they were working towards or away from something else? So if there's something in that location, like they said, they don't want to move, but if it is a divorce situation, which maybe I read between the lines, while you want to stay there and there's memories, but is that going to be the same memory after?
Mhm.
It won't be. We know that, but to get them to think about, to be in control of that.
I think you're spot on. Sometimes whenever we're caught in the middle of it with agents, we just want to do the right thing. You've hired us to sell a house. We want to go sell the house. But sometimes there's other emotions that are swirling around.
Yeah.
That are making the most important thing something totally else. It's something totally different.
But don't you feel like, and maybe I just had this yesterday, almost always the issue or the most important thing actually isn't.
Nope.
It's
Um,
always something else. And we may not always be verbally told what the something else is, but we can probably work our way to it
uh-huh.
by asking the questions like you were asking. And interestingly, when you said that, it says, what are you going to be asking for the property on a pre-listing? And I've never heard it worded that way.
What are you going to be asking for the property?
Yeah. And I like that question because I immediately go to price, but when I post it to the group, I got all kind of stuff. Like,
Well, that's
what do you mean?
where
Like,
can I get
is
a
the pool fixed, or what do you mean?
yeah.
But I thought, what a great question. Because
It
again,
really it really is, and it helps you be kind of proactive
yeah,
in thinking about your pre-negotiations and things like that, so your seller's not caught off guard. Or if they do say price, and it's a $300,000 house, they go, I'm 750. You can go, oh, okay. Walk me through
right,
that. Walk me
right.
through if your
That's my
clients are
favorite
here.
saying. Walk me through that.
Yeah, because sometimes they do have a different end and a different process, and they may have information we don't have. Um, Not always the case, but it's funny, in real estate school, it's only 75 hours. You go, you learn terms, we learn how to count days, we learn riparian and littoral rights, but nobody ever talks about the psychological side of what we do, the calming people or we should
Well,
all
and
give
I
it
have said
100%.
500,000 times of sideways. I wish I had had you as my realtor when I sold my house a little over a year ago. Obviously, you know, when we know the whole story, that would not have worked in this case because the other agent actually was from your
Yeah.
office. But I made stupid errors because I've got my husband coming at me. I have this person, and it was like,
It's emotional and
right. And this
it
is what I
becomes,
do every day. And I'm like, I deal with the problems every day, and I couldn't even deal with my own.
girl, it's crazy. So I always think my house is lower than it is. I'm married to someone who thinks it's higher than it is. It's very emotional, and I don't know if it's the money or the memories, but real estate is
Probably both.
very emotional. And so I think whenever you're an agent and you're selling your own house, you think we have the upper hand, and I tend to think we don't.
Well, I think it further confirms that as realtors, we are there to help manage emotions, manage the people, manage the situations. If someone had talked to me about the septic and talked to me through that, like just had a conversation with me, I
Uh-huh.
wouldn't have goofed up, but
Mhm.
I second guessed myself because I'm like, no, I know it's 1,500. I know it is, but this county said it was 1,000. And rather than just pay to have the dumb thing cleaned, which I was going to have to do anyway, by the way, we went on and negotiated as if it was going to have to be fixed. And then sure enough, when we paid to have it cleaned, it was 1,500. The
Yeah.
county was an oops. So, but I would have told any person or agent to do just that. Hey, why don't you just go ahead and clean it?
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
here I
you know?
am, I'm emotionally in it thinking, how did I make such a big mistake? Oh my gosh, I put something false on a disclosure statement, which I didn't.
No.
But what? And you would have said, Julie, just go get it cleaned.
Well, but when again, it's when you're in the forest, all you see are trees. When you're not in the forest, you can look down and go, oh, yep, here you are, and here's the path out. It's just, it's funny how you think that, oh, a realtor is going to sell their house better than anyone else. Maybe, but hey,
Not this one.
you need a guide. I dread whenever we move. We had a cool junk removal service in our office this week talking about what they do. And of course, we're all fighting over who's going to use them first. They remove everything. They remove like toxic things, like you can't throw out in the garbage can. And so I'm already making a list of everything I want out of the house. I'm going to start all over. I,
I need that person's, they came to your sales meeting. Is that what you
uh-huh,
said?
I'll give it to you.
Oh, please.
They're really nice, small company. Their minimum, I think, is around $140, and it's just like an eighth of a truck. And I said, well, how big is that? It's a picture a sofa size straight up. So it's basically how much the truck would you fill up? I said, I could fill up half that truck for that. Trust me. So,
Well, I will tell you, when we moved from Statham, and it was just childhood toys that I didn't want to, whatever. It was what do they call, but, basically the back
dump
end, the
truck. Yeah.
trailer.
Yeah.
We used a small one the first time, and I was like, yeah, that ain't gonna get it. We probably need one more big one. We needed 3 more big ones. 3. Mhm. So we had
Okay,
3 big
so
and
that's
1
a,
small.
were these big bulky items or were
Some
they?
were, some were not, but keep in mind, you know, the house was like 4,000 square feet-ish. We had a full attic and a full basement. And you do not realize the amount of stuff you accumulate. I probably had 4 or 5 boxes of random Polly Pockets, junk like that. So some of it we gave away, but when you go through, you know, there's some food left on there that your kid played with, and he's like, oh,
Like,
it'll be all
oh, really?
right.
Yep.
I mean, I had candles up there that had melted in like, but they were still in a box.
Oh, my candles were wrapped in newspaper, probably the Ocean Star, my hometown one. Yeah, and the oils and things come out of them. It's pretty nasty. Of course, so I was getting rid of some of mine. My dad's like, those are good candles. I'll take those. And my mom's like, no, no. They may or may not have made it into their trunk, but they'll find out later. But it's weird. It's emotional. It's memories. And I was brought up where you don't throw good things away. So I have donated. I feel like every other Sunday, some of the donation people are like, oh, there's those people again. They probably think we're robbing other people, but I used to keep things for memories, and now I realize it's a source of stress for me.
Hmm.
Having just junk and clutter, um,
Oh, yeah.
it's
That's been the best
stressful
part
for
of
me.
moving and downsizing is getting rid of stuff. And we still came with plenty of crap we should have gotten rid of.
I thought the best part of moving was becoming a propagation specialist.
I didn't know that at the time. I do now. Um, the fact that I go out there and I talk to some chickens en route to some little seedlings is something never in my lifetime ever would I have dreamt of.
So again, and I know it's not, and I make fun of you, but it's because I love you. You were like the best dresser. You just wear edgy clothes and cute shoes, and I just picture you out there like in your long skirt and your cute little top and the perfect accessory and your sandals and your little chicken basket going out there to, hey babies, and collecting all the eggs, talking to them. Thank you for your eggs today. Could you do some more tomorrow?
I
And just
did.
like it.
I had on a lime green suit. I'm giggling because now I did change shoes. So I had on my boots. So I took those off and put my boots on, but I had on my lime green suit and
And your
went out the
boots.
other day in my boots. Um, yeah, I did. But I saw this, I don't know, probably TikTok, but I saw this video of someone saying every day, go put your hands in some dirt, even if it's potting soil in a Rubbermaid, just go play in the dirt. Now she did it barehanded. I don't. But now I do. Well, that's not altogether true. Sometimes I do, but most of the time I have gloves on, but you're still in there actually practicing in the dirt.
You know
And
why that is?
is it the grounding?
Grounding. Yeah. Think about when you're holding, how many hours a day do you hold your phone? Just like
Yeah.
hold it. We're surrounded by right now technology all around us. So you think you're electrically charged. Your body creates energy. And
Mm.
so those energy, if you're having trouble sleeping, if you have inflammation, I thought, oh, this is crazy. This has gone on for hundreds of years. People who walk barefooted, earthing. If you go out like with a crying baby,
Mhm.
there was a nurse that was talking about her baby was crying all the time, but she could walk out barefooted and stand there or sit in a rocking chair outside. The baby would calm down. We thought it was, oh, it's wind, it's sunlight. It neutralizes and grounds you.
Mm.
And it changes your energy. There's
I
science to
do
it.
believe that. My daughter swears that this was the best thing I ever did.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Oh, you are happy. I can already tell you.
yeah.
I wasn't sure how you like living further out. When I talk to you, I can even tell a tone through a text with you on the weekend. Like playing with my chickies, playing in my garden. Your garden looks amazing. It helps that you have a husband who can build everything. But
Well,
oh,
that's what he did, and bless his heart, he trenched up the backyard so that he can run the water line to the garden so that there's a spigot right there at the garden. And then he's running power to the she shed on the other side. So yes, that's very helpful.
I can't believe he could do all those things though. I can't even lay water lines. Peter can do a lot of things. I don't know that.
Well, he was a farmer.
Well, that's true. That helps too.
So I think
But
that's where he gets, but yes, and the inside of my house is like nothing special,
yes.
but the outside, yeah, there's definitely something to be said for.
But you have excellent taste. It'll be no time you'll have the inside the way you want it. You had to downsize. That's going to take a while to get everything to scale, get the size you want. Because here's the thing, you have a big family. You like to entertain your family. I think it's kind of cool.
But is it sick that maybe I go home on the weekends and I don't ever leave and socialize or do anything?
No, I think you're recharging. We're on all week. And here's the thing, you're still working, you're still connected on the weekends, but we're on so much, it's hard to turn off. Okay, I'm looking at the clock. Do you
Oh
have to
yeah,
go?
yes. I do. I have to go hop off and hop on.
Okay, this is just a good morning ritual just to get to see my friend. in
I
the morning.
know, I like that. And truly, it looks like you're sitting at your desk. So when you go in today, turn around and it,
I think it's the gold flakes or something in
I
it.
don't know, but I just thought, okay, so that
She's
totally
there.
works.
Nope.
So,
Go have a good Zoom.
happy Friday.
Thanks. Bye.